Westbrook has agreed to a deal with the Sacramento Kings to come back to the NBA for his 18th NBA season.
Every time, man. Good retirement, baby.
Russell Westbrook just signed with the Sacramento Kings, and the entire NBA is buzzing. Some players are excited, others doubtful, and a few see it as the perfect way for the former MVP to close out his career. When the news broke on October 15, 2025, it caught even veteran analysts off guard. After declining his player option with the Denver Nuggets, where he quietly averaged 13 points, 6 assists, and 5 rebounds, no one expected the 36-year-old to land in Sacramento. He agreed to a one-year, $3.6 million non-guaranteed deal, with a partial guarantee set to kick in by January 10, 2026, allowing the Kings to back out if needed. The signing followed months of quiet mutual interest between Westbrook and the Kings, signaling both a potential opportunity and a calculated risk. As fans debated how he'd fit into the team's system and rotations, reactions poured in from across the league. Gilbert Arenas, Kevin Durant, and others weighed in, some surprised, some supportive, and some skeptical. Meanwhile, social media lit up, with debates already forming before Westbrook even suited up in purple and black.
Westbrook has agreed to a deal with the Sacramento Kings to come back to the NBA for his 18th NBA season.
Every time, man. Good retirement, baby.
Their tone was a mix of sarcasm and respect, the kind of locker room banter that says, "We're teasing you because we actually care." It wasn't pure criticism, it had that familiar edge of tough love. One of the hosts even joked about Sacramento's small market status, taking a light jab at the city while still acknowledging the weight of the move.
It's Sacramento.
That's where you go to.
They got 7 Chili's in the metropolitan area.
If they see it in Sacramento, it's over.
Behind the laughs, everyone understood what this signing really meant. This wasn't just another stop for Russell Westbrook, it was his final stand. After years of being criticized as a stat padder and a chemistry killer, the former MVP who once averaged a triple-double for 3 straight seasons was now fighting to prove he still belonged in the league. On Gilbert Arenas' panel, the mood quickly shifted from jokes to serious analysis. One host put it plainly, Westbrook's arrival would either energize the Kings bench or completely disrupt their already delicate roster balance. With DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Dennis Schroeder already in the mix, Sacramento was loaded with ball-dominant guards. The debate kicked off right away. Should Russ start or come off the bench? The crew agreed that Dennis Schroeder would likely start, with Westbrook leading the second unit, a role they joked might not sit well with someone whose career resume screams alpha. And that's the real challenge Sacramento now faces. They didn't just sign a player, they brought in a force of nature, a strong personality, into a locker room already full of egos and ball handlers. Still, from the outside, the league's reaction was more respectful than critical. Kevin Durant called Westbrook a legend who deserves to leave the game on his own terms. Patrick Beverley blasted the NBA for how it's treated him, saying, "It's up what happened to Russ. We've never seen an MVP get treated like this." Even former teammates like Schroeder were openly excited, telling reporters, "His energy is going to be huge for us."
Remember, he just got put on his team. If they don't make the playoffs,
It's his fault.
who they playing?
Absolutely. It's Russ's fault.
That line captured the reality of Westbrook's late career, because in today's NBA, legends rarely get a graceful exit. More often, they become scapegoats. If Sacramento fails to make the playoffs, no one will be blaming DeRozan's defense or LaVine's inconsistency. The blame will land squarely on Russ. And in a way, for someone who's faced criticism his whole career, that's almost poetic. As one fan tweeted the night the news broke, "Rook ain't running from the smoke. He's bringing his own fire to Sacramento." Maybe that's what fuels him, the chaos, the doubt, and the chance to prove people wrong one last time. On *Gil's Arena *, Gilbert Arenas and his co-host spent nearly 20 minutes debating whether Russ should start or lead the bench unit. Every opinion, every shout showed just how divided even former players are about Westbrook's place in the modern game.
You would beat you, Dennis.
Do you want Russ and DeMar?
Yeah, backdoor, cutting, slicing.
Because Russ will pass.
That comment triggered an avalanche, because if you really know Russell Westbrook, the 2017 MVP, the triple-double machine, the guy who once averaged 31 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists for a full season, the thought of him backing up Dennis Schroeder feels almost disrespectful. But the numbers don't lie. Schroeder is currently the more efficient perimeter scorer, shooting 38% from 3 last season, while Russ managed just 32.3%. He's still productive, but he's no longer the explosive force who could blow by defenders at will. What makes the debate so intense is how personal it becomes. On *Gil's Arena *, the crew dove deep into the issue of fit. One host argued that Schroeder should run the starting unit while Russ anchors the second lineup. Another host immediately pushed back, setting off a heated back and forth that showed just how divided even insiders are about where Westbrook truly belongs at this stage of his career.
I'm just out there.
Yeah.
So if I want to maximize both these guys, Russ, you start, push the tempo,
agree.
dive. I got all athleticism.
That's the paradox of Russell Westbrook. For every coach worried about his ball dominance, there's a player who swears by his leadership and intensity. Even Gilbert Arenas, known for roasting everyone, defended him, saying Russ still plays the right way, it's just that teams don't fully understand the kind of fire he brings. And that's the big question for Sacramento. Can this roster handle Westbrook's energy? Kevin Durant recently said, Russ is a legend. He deserves to be in the NBA right now and walk out on his own terms, and that didn't come from PR, but from someone who shared a locker room with him for 8 years. Patrick Beverley, once one of Westbrook's fiercest rivals, got emotional on his podcast, blasting the league for how it's treated Russ, saying, it's __up what happened to Russ. We've never seen an MVP get treated like this. That wasn't sympathy, it was earned respect. Dennis Schroeder, now his Kings teammate, also backed him, saying, I've played with Russ before. He's a great leader. His energy is going to be huge for us. But not everyone agrees. Retired vets like Rudy Gay and John Wall, who've seen similar situations play out, recently said they're happy he's back but don't see the fit. Wall even predicted the Kings would either fight for the 7th seed or collapse before the trade deadline. And throughout all this debate, one truth kept surfacing on *Gil's Arena*. Even if he's no longer the best scorer on the floor, Russell Westbrook still changes the gravity of the game.
We know Russell loves, he loves his fans. You know, I know he had a bad experience with the Lakers, but, you know, sometimes you got to understand that, listen, they bought that jersey for you.
That brings us to the next chapter, the moment that showed just how personal things have become for Russell Westbrook, the jersey incident. After everything he's been through, trades, criticism, and being made the scapegoat, his refusal to sign 2 Lakers jerseys after a preseason game may reveal more about his mindset heading into this Kings season than any stat sheet ever could. Just days after signing with Sacramento, in a preseason matchup against his former team, the Los Angeles Lakers, Westbrook was seen courtside in his new Kings gear, signing jerseys for fans. There were Thunder jerseys, a Rockets one, even a Clippers jersey, all of which he signed without hesitation. But when 2 young fans held out Lakers jerseys with his name on the back, he paused, smiled politely, and shook his head. He signed everything but those. That single, quiet gesture, choosing not to sign, instantly went viral. By the next morning, Gilbert Arenas had already weighed in on *Gil's Arena*, diving into what that moment really meant.